Hello, it's Debbie from Create Pretty Things. Hey guys, I just started to go live. I wanted to show off our free transfer you get when you order $75 or more from our new launch. And actually, it doesn't have to all be from our launch, but whenever you place $75 or more in your cart, you will get this free transfer. It was really cute. Now, I tried to use it on sticker paper and it stuck like crazy and it ruined the paper. It actually ruined my transfer a little bit too. Do you see how it pulled off some of this edge here that's not supposed to be removed? And around the words, it also removes some. Well, I'm kind of stubborn and I don't know how this is going to turn out, and it's not very sticky either. It took away all the stick. I washed it all off hoping that the sticky would come back. It did not, but I still want to try this, and this time I'm going to try it on one of our block chubby squares. So I am going to smooth it down as best I can, and I'm going to try to make this work. Do you think it'll work? Comment in the comments whether you think this will work. I'm just going to go ahead and apply our shimmer olive right now. And this part of the transfer is not damaged, so it should work perfectly, other than it's not sticking. Okay, so I've got it on, I've taken off the extra, and I'm gonna go ahead and peel this off. It looks beautiful, so step one, done. So when I peel and pull, it's because I want to dry up and let this work, and I don't want it to dry in the paste. So I'm gonna dry it here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and lay it back down, and I'm going to attempt to do my words again. Now I'm going to try to do my words in this teal color. Isn't it pretty? Now I do have a lot of damage down here. So I think I'm going to have a lot of blurry words down at the bottom, but I still want to try this. I still want to see if this will work. So I'm going to take my teal, smooth it on, and I'm going to let it go wherever it goes. So I know I'm going to have a mess down at the bottom, because when you have damage around that silk screen, it doesn't trap your paste and keep it in one area. So we're going to see just how bad this is going to be. Okay, put my paste on. I'm taking off the excess and I'm going to lift it. And this is where we're going to see how bad it is. Okay. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad down at the bottom. So I could probably clean that up if I worked at it. And it does look a little cool, kind of like graffiti type. I'm gonna try and do this pumpkin. Now I know that this edge over here is bad. It's damaged. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my placement tape. And I'm gonna kind of block off some of these damaged edges, just so I'm not going to put paste on there and have it bleed. It's kind of like crowd control, damage control. So I couldn't really do it down here because the letters are so small, but I certainly can down here, and therefore I will. So I've got that tape down, and now I can feel free to paste all over it with my orange paste. And this is Shimmer Pumpkin. It's kind of a dark paste. So I'm just going to get a good amount on here. And I'm going to make sure that I can get it to stick as much as I can. But remember, it's damaged. I damaged it when I pulled it off the paper. So do not put that on those sticky labels. It does not work. I've done it on magnets before, but this one was more of a label, and I had bought it for making stickers in my printer. And I thought maybe it would work with chalk paste. Well, it may work with chalk paste, but it does not work with the back of the transfer. Okay, so I'm just going to smooth this down. Make sure I cover all this plaid area. Squeegee it off. And then put my unused paste back in the jar. And I'm going to put my cap back on. I might want to spritz it with some water. Sometimes your paste gets thick. If it hasn't been used for a while, it may get thick. And this has gotten thick. And so I just wanted to go ahead and cap that up. Got my green. I also had some brown out. I was going to try and do some brown. But I think I'm going to leave it as it is. Cap these up real quick. And then we'll remove the transfer and we'll see what we have. Okay. So the transfer tape is really good for blocking out areas that you do not want to have paste. Okay, here we go. Now we know that this part of the words is damaged, but let's check out the pumpkin. Wow, guys. This would have been so cool if I didn't ruin the bottom part. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and dry this, and then I'm going to work on cleaning this up for the most part. I think the top part looks cool with that distressing, but the bottom part is too messy. And so I'm going to work on that. This is a cool transfer though, guys. You can get this transfer with a $75 order. So if you place $75 or more in your cart, they will automatically add this transfer for you. And you can do it on anything you want. Don't do it on the labels though. Don't do it on that paper labels, magnetic labels. And it might have been just the brand I was using too. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up this transfer real quick. I did, when the paper stuck to it, I took it to my sink and I put it under running water and I rubbed all the stuck paper off, but it really was stuck really good. So that's what took all the sticky off. And then I'm going to take my board eraser, which is just like a magic eraser sponge. And I'm going to clean all this paste out of the silk screen. I'm going to do the back side as well, and you can see I still have some paper stuck to it. But I think I can still use the pumpkin part of this transfer, even if I don't decide to use the words. I think some of that paper's coming off better with that board eraser. Got a new roll of paper towels here, guys. You know how it is with that new roll. I'm just going to go over it with the paper towel. And normally the sticky would come back, but I did do some damage to it, so. Okay, I'm going to let that dry sticky side up. Now, let's get to starting cleaning. I've got a couple tools which I can use. I can use this, which is just kind of a sponge, and I maybe use just a stick. And I also have these things that have like, they're sticks on one end that are angled. And then there's also these emery board kind of things at the end. So I can take my board eraser, if it's clean enough, and wipe some of this off. No problem there. But where we're going to run into problems is down here. So I'm just going to go ahead, wet this applicator brush, and I'm going to start working on cleaning up some of these bigger sections. That worked good. Some of this is coming off pretty good. It is detailed work though, so it won't be perfect. Okay. I'm gonna blot this off. Okay, so I'm going to start kind of scraping some of this off. And I really like these little sticks that have the emery edges on them because it works well on wood. And the paint, when it's dry, it does kind of scrape off if you work at it. I can also take, snip off my board eraser and create little erasers with that. Get them wet so there'll be a smaller surface and I can work with those. You do want to be careful what you're taking off because you don't want to take off all of your saying. Some of it belongs there. Just work in small areas. See what else we have. Okay, I also have these little foamy sticks, which work well, and they're smaller. You know what? I might just take off all this Obsessed and try to re-chalk it. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to spray it and loosen that paste up. It might be less damaging to the wood. These surfaces are not meant to be reusable. Some of our surfaces are. This one is not a reusable surface. But maybe if I would have waxed the surface, I would have had a better chance of removing that also. And also remember, if I put this back on and go over it, chances are it's still going to be messy because the transfer is damaged. Okay, so I've gotten most of that blue off, but it is kind of stained blue, as you can guys see. I'm going to take my board eraser and get a clean part of it. And these board erasers just work miracles. They are just so great at removing these chalk pastes. I'm going to dry it up. And I did kind of make gouges when I was using that sanding thing. I have a couple gouges right there, but I think it's going to be okay. Now, if I wanted to, I could go ahead and paint this white again, but I think it looks pretty cool as it is. It looks kind of like a graffiti look, especially up at the top right there. So, clean up my counter just a little bit. Let's go ahead and try that again. See, this should be dry. So I can lay this right back over what I already chalked for placement purposes. Okay, and now I'm really going to smooth this down. I wonder if I could control some of this with tape. Let's see. Where's my tape? It's just a little long and I don't want it to go into that line down here. Trim it up. There we go. Okay, so that worked well. Little tiny pieces of tape. And of course, you would not really want to do this unless you had a problem like I did. But I love this transfer and I'm not sure they'll be able to replace it if I order another one, because it could run out. A lot of these freebies are just, well, supplies last, and they are pretty limited. Little tiny thin piece right here. Once again, whatever has a hole, and you can see the white area through the screen, that is where the paste is going to go through. And since I wore some of it off, when I was scrubbing it, when I took off the paper, I'm just trying to patch those holes up, which is kind of crazy. Kind of time consuming. Decide whether it's worth it for you. I think it's going to work out okay for me. Okay, I think we're good to go. So I'll show you what it looks like. Where I put the tape, looks a little smoother. I still want to smooth this down and control where I'm putting that paste. Get out my teal again, which I had added water to. So make sure you mix up your paste. If you add water to it, make sure you mix it up really well, because you don't want to get, you want it all to be one consistency. Okay. Since I just wet this, this might bleed on its own because it's too wet. Let's just see. Let's see what happens. All right. Let's peel it off. Well, it's still a little messy. So I think we'll call this one abstract. Let's call this one abstract for now. And I'll work on it to clean it up. Anyway, so do not use the sticker paper, the magnetic sticker paper, but it will be beautiful on these. And if you do make a mistake like I did, your best bet is taking it to the sink and washing it off, getting it cleaned, and going from there to work on it. Anyway, so that one wasn't perfect, but it was fun, and I learned a lot from it. I hope you did too. And thank you for watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye.